Okay, hello everybody. Jono here from the Course Creator community, and I am super excited because we've got an absolute rock star on the line this week, speaking about probably the most important topic as well, which is sales. Probably more specifically, we'll get into objection handling. But when it comes to sales, my take is that sales is the most important thing. It had the most prolific difference on my business. Before I learned sales and phone sales, I was doing okay, maybe $30,000-$40,000 a year, good sort of side thing. Then I learned phone sales and was able to increase my revenue to about 300,000 a year, and then 600,000, then 900,000, all the way up to about $1 million a year. And if I could put it down to one thing, it would be learning how to sell. And in my other business, fitness education online, I spent about 3 years, just 9 to 5, sales, right? So I'm pretty handy on that side of things. About a year ago, I interviewed this person, and I'm like, this guy knows every trick in the book. For someone that's myself that was just tens and thousands of hours on sales, this guy is, I don't think there's anyone better in the world at it. So it's my privilege to introduce this man. He helps business owners build a 6 to 7 figure lifestyle business without sacrificing time, family, or money. He's a sales coach / closer at the Habit-Based Lifestyle. It's the one and only Mr. Justin Mark. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jono, dude. Thanks for having me on again. I'm really excited to talk shop and sales with you today.
No, I'm excited too. And just to confirm, you prefer Justin Mark?
Yeah, Mark is actually technically my middle name. And I was thinking about changing my last name a while back. And so I changed it, but that's kind of right when my profile started picking up a lot of followers and speed. And so people kind of know me as that now. So I'm stuck.
Awesome. Yeah. Cause I'm like, your Facebook's one, your Zoom's the other, but Justin Mark is the best, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. Cool. And if you want to follow Justin, which I recommend, go and add him as a friend on Facebook, Justin Mark. I'll go and put the link in the show notes there. Justin, I like to start all these podcasts off with a quote or mantra that inspires you or fires you up. Have you got one for us?
When it comes to selling, you the longer you can hang in there, the better, right? So I really like this quote by Babe Ruth, which is that you just can't beat a person who never gives up.
Yes. And Babe Ruth, he's the baseballer, right? For the non-American listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. For the 2 American listeners that you have. Maybe
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, Justin, I've been friends with you on Facebook, I'd say a couple of years now. So I've got a pretty good idea of what it is you do, what you're into. But if someone's listening to this and they're not currently connected with you, give us a bit of let us know what it is you do and a bit of background as well. What is it you do and how did you get into it?
Yeah. So right now I actually the sales coaching portion and also build the sales team at Habit-Based Lifestyle, which is a company where we help folks, basically we help business owners get 10 to 15, what we call them better than referral leads every single week right off of their social media, like without ads or funnels or anything like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And a little bit of background. I've been in sales, ever since I can remember. I'm actually kind of a geek. I fell into it, which is actually a funny story. But ever since I got into sales, my next goal from that point was to get out of sales and get into management. And so I did that and realized that management's not for me. So I went back to selling, but I missed the coaching aspect. And so that's kind of when I fell into coaching. And it's been a 5-year journey since then. And recently this year partnered up with Jesse because he was doing a lot of really good things with his program, and it would give me an opportunity to do more coaching, less like marketing and stuff like that. So I'm in a really good place there, and we're helping people really change their lives when it comes to their coaching practice.
Love it. Give Jesse a plug. Jesse, what's the surname?
Jesse Ewell.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get into it, Justin. You've even got me curious there. Better than referral leads. Like that's a good sales pitch, I hear that. Yeah. I'm interested. Maybe let's start there. We'll just spend a couple minutes. All right. How do we actually get these leads? And then we'll spend a couple minutes. Okay. How do we sort of pre-frame the sales thing? And then we'll get to the objection. So let's start there. Give us a couple tips there, Justin. How do we get better than referral leads?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is really understand what they are, right? So a referral, everybody loves referrals because you're borrowing social proof from the person who's referring them. And that's very strong, right? Because humans, social proof is one of the most strongest influences on our decisions, because it's like, hey man, if that human over there is doing it, then I could probably do it too, right? But a better than referral lead is better than that because you already have the social proof, plus they know you. Okay, so now you don't even have to get to know them. Not only do you have the social proof because they've been following your social media and they've seen how many people you can help and how many people you have helped and how you help them. And on top of that, they also know who you are already. So you don't have to build a relationship with them. There's already sort of a relationship there. So they're the easiest leads in the world to close on your service. They don't have objections. They don't talk to you unless they have money. And sometimes they have objections, but for the most part, and then when they join your stuff, they already are a part of your ecosystem. And so they do better with your program too, as opposed to cold leads, from ads or just from the random cold DMs.
That's so good because you're combining the two best things, right? The two best leads are referrals, obviously. Oh, this person worked with you, got good results, I'm interested. Or your friends already. Hey, I know this guy, I already trust him. I know, even if he does, I know he doesn't completely suck at what he does, or, at least I know I trust him. He's not going to run off with my money, right? So
right, exactly.
Combine both of those two and they're the best. How do we, I guess, find them, or how do we get them on the call, or any tips there, Justin?
Yeah, the biggest thing I would say is show them results in advance. Okay, so brag about your clients. Like if you're a coach out there, if you're a health and wellness provider, brag about the transformations. Like I know you do this really well, Jono, on your page. Like you're always promoting how well someone's doing, one of your students is doing, or like in your fitness stuff, you're always showing before and after pictures. And there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is to show people, hey, I have something that can help you.
Okay, sweet. So we share the results that our current students are getting. That's the best thing there.
Yeah. And then from there, then it's really about initiating conversations with these folks and walking them through a path that ends with them seeing you as someone who is willing to chat with them and find out if it's worth it to talk further, right? And I make it sound easier than it is. Because we don't have all day.
Well, let's even go, if we can even just simplify from kind of like, all right, we're doing some of these posts. How do we get that person on the call? Do they come to us? Do we DM them? Do we do like a comment below? Any all of the above? Any sort
all of the above, really?
Yeah.
Any way you can think of. Here's the thing: when it comes to booking a call, like anything you can think of to try, I would say if you haven't done this before, anything you can think of to try, just try it. Yep. I put a post out there that says, hey, I help so-and-so, let's say you're a fitness person. I help so-and-so lose 20 pounds. Do you want to lose 20 pounds? Put an emoji below. Something that's that simple. But that's not the real problem, right? The tactics aren't really the problem for a lot of people. A lot of people, the problem is their own mind and thinking it has to be some kind of way in order to be acceptable or useful or even valuable to do, right? Because we think like, well, what if nobody responds to it? Or we think like, well, what if one of my friends that I've known from high school and like doesn't really believe I can do this online business thing, what if they see it and they don't like it? That's what stops people, because if you get out there and you ask enough people to get on a call with you, like 2 out of 100 will get on a call with you.
Yeah, love that. I think there's a couple good points there. So I was on a coaching call last week or a week or two ago, and a suggestion I gave was to do like a comment below thread. I was like, hey, any post you do, always have some sort of CTA,
some sort of call to action.
Yeah, even if it's agree or disagree, comment below if you want this free thing, whatever, have something there. And the person on the call is a group call, and she was like, yeah, Jono, but I see a lot of people do that, and then no one leaves a comment. And then I think that person's pathetic, for doing that. And I'm like, hold on. You're now judging that person as a person based on how much comments they get on their social media. Come on. Out of all the ways to kids are getting depressed I got to put a photo and no one got any likes. That's a bad way to look at life, Scrap that, before because if that's your mindset, and you judge other people because they don't get any likes. Of course, you're not going to post anything. And then you're not going to
terrified.
Exactly. You're not going to post anything because you think, oh, if no one likes and comments, I'm a loser and I don't have value. And there's going to be a constant circle, So I think you hit it on the head, Who cares? You can delete the post anyway. You do it and no one likes and comments, delete it the next day. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Just some stuff I've deleted. I posted stuff and I'm like, oh, this is going to kill. Yeah. I check it in 2 hours and I'm like, shit, delete.
I would be clinically depressed. The amount of times that I posted something and if I based my value on how many people liked and comment, I would be clinically depressed if every time I posted. So I think that's key. And I think you hit the nail on the head where any way you can, and there's obviously strategies and tactics and whatnot that work, but that's a whole nother conversation, right?
Right.
But,
exactly.
But I think a way to look at it is, all right, how can I just, get on it, at least DM the person, send a few DMs. Okay. Hey, can I give you some tips or whatever it may be, right? Yep. Now we're on the call with that person. And I want to get specifically to objection handling later, but let's just, obviously with objection handling, you can't just objection handle. It's kind of like, It depends on, everything you've done before then, right? So
totally.
What tips can you give us, I guess, before we get to objection handling, Justin?
Yeah. Okay. So the number one problem I see people making on sales calls is totally well-intentioned. Okay. Because, if you've never been in sales before, it's natural to think that you've got to give this person all the information. Right. And so I call it diarrhea of the mouth is the problem.
Yeah.
And we do that well-intentioned because we want the person to know what we know, because we're right in believing if they know what I know, they'll easily sign up for this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But getting them to know what you know is a lot more difficult than just spewing everything that you know. So my advice here is ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Right. Try to make it a game where you don't say anything. You just ask questions. The longer you can survive in that game, the more likely you are to close that sale, even if it feels ridiculous.
Love that. Yes. So my take on that, the way I see that, let me think of how to explain it. Okay. I'm going to use fitness as an example because it's such an easy one to use.
That's
in
perfect.
This situation. There's so many advantages to being fit, right? It's kind of like, do you want to do it because you want to look better? Do you want to do it because you want to feel better? Do you want to do it because you want to build muscle, because you want to lose weight, because you want to be more toned, because you want to put on weight, because you want to sleep better, you want to, have sex better, like it's just, you want to run a marathon. Yeah. It's like, it's the perfect thing,
It's perfect.
It's an easy thing to sell because it's kind of like, everyone, there's no doubt, there's no one that'll doubt you. It's like,
right.
Why are you doing fitness?
Everybody agrees being fitter is better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like, it's also acceptable to give money to, it's kind of like, no one's going to have a dig at you, you're paying to be healthier. What the hell is wrong with you?
Nobody says that.
It's an easy sell, but anyways, getting a bit off topic here. It's kind of like, there's so many different benefits there. And usually even in a fitness program, let's say you're running a group boot camp, right? You've got obviously the exercise, so you go there and you exercise. You've obviously got the social aspect, you're around other people there. You've obviously got a coach there to keep you accountable. If you don't come to the sessions, you get charged anyway, or the coach will text you or whatever it is. You've got a coach there to make sure you're doing the exercises correctly. You've got there's less chance of injury. You've got a coach there to make sure that you're pushing yourself to your level so that you can get the most out of it. You're probably also getting some nutrition advice as well. You're probably also getting some healthy recipes. You're probably also getting some homework, like so many things that goes into fitness. Yeah. But if I was trying to sell that to and if that would be the verbal diarrhea, right? If I'm like, hey, Justin, you want to get fit? All these things here. Let me think about it.
So exactly.
It's kind of like the restaurants. I hate restaurants with these big ass menus because I can't decide what I want.
And too much stuff.
Yeah. And the waiter or waitress comes over. What would you like? Give me another 10 minutes. Give me another 10 minutes. I spent half an hour ordering, If your sales process is like that, no wonder people have got to think about it and all that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The easier way. And also here's the other thing as well. It can turn people off. Let's say that fitness program, Justin, let's say you signed up just because you wanted a coach to keep you accountable, right? And I
Yep.
tried to sell you, hey, you also get this nutrition stuff and there's all this social aspect to it as well. And you also get these recipes. You're going to be thinking, man, this is all this crap that I don't need. I don't want to pay more for this crap that I don't need. You know,
Dude, that's the exact thought process.
Exactly. Yep. Whereas
God.
Sorry, you go.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I used to sell TVs in a commission environment, right? And so these guys were pros. I mean, a lot of them have been doing it for years, but then you would also get the people that kind of come through and are not so great. So anyways, I had this guy, he's talking to a couple about a TV. They've landed on a TV. It's one of the most expensive TVs in the store. So this dude's going to make a good commission on it, right? And so they're talking about the TV and they're setting up the delivery details and he's right there, right? And he's standing there just being quiet while they discuss what day they want it delivered and how they're going to fit it in their schedules and who's going to take Bobby to soccer and who's going to pick up little girl from school and all that, right? And he's standing there and I can see him rocking. And I lean over to my friend who was working with me at the time and I was like, he's about to lose this sale, watch. Because I could see how impatient he was getting with not talking. And he goes, so then finally he pops his top and he goes, hey, this TV also, just so you guys know, the TV also has 3D. And then when the wife looks at her husband and goes, oh, 3D. Oh no, when I did that at the movie theater, I got sick. And the guy goes, well, you don't turn it on all the time. You just have to, wear these like glasses. And then that's why you see the 3D. And then the husband was like, you have to wear glasses to watch TV. And the guy's like, no, it's an optional feature. Right. And then they're like,
digging that hole, right?
Just digging that hole. Exactly. Right. And then right there, that same thing occurred to them. Oh my God, we'll never use that. Why would we get this TV? We'd never use that. So then they were like, show us the non-3D TVs. Dude, every TV we had was 3D. It's like a standard feature.
Yeah.
So like the TV they ended up buying was a worse TV for them for what they wanted because they misunderstood. That just happens all the time. Yep. He opened his mouth and talked about something they didn't even ask about. Yeah. Right. The TV they ended up buying was picture quality horrible and they probably had to replace it in a year or two, whereas the other one would have lasted them 5 to 10 years. And so not only did he get a lower commission, that's not really what it's about. It's about the fact that the people he was talking to had a misunderstanding and felt like they were paying more for something that they really weren't. And then they wouldn't listen to him to try to explain it. They're to try to justify it because he has a vested interest in them sticking with the higher price TV. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing is ask questions, right? If he would have just said, how do you guys feel about 3D? They're like, oh no, we hate it. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, 100%. And it's kind of like, let me think cool. So the question's there. Yeah. And it's like the sales pitch is tailored to what they've told. If we go back to fitness again as an example, you ask the questions, we know all these benefits from fitness. Okay. Only mention the ones that they said they were interested in. You mentioned all these features here, only mentions the one that they said they were interested in. And then they get the others anyway, but it's kind of like a bonus,
Exactly. They'll be like, oh, maybe they'd open it up and be like, man, I have a meal plan here. I have a coach is going to text me. They didn't even expect that. Like, I just didn't think I was going to go to class and had to get charged for it. And the coach texted me. That's amazing. That feels extra value as opposed to something they're paying for because they didn't think that they were getting it. And because our minds we're too center focused on what we want to really consider those things anyways. It's really just aligning with how the person wants to be sold to.
And it's kind of like, it's because I think there's two ways to look at it. It's like, it's easier to sell someone something they want, like Justin comes in, he's like, I want this thing here. Okay. I'm going to sell you that thing that you want, providing I have it, obviously, It's harder for me to convince you to do the other things, Oh, don't worry about weight loss, Justin, worry about your energy and your muscle and all that. You want to lose weight? Yes, do this, you'll lose weight. And hey, by the way, you'll also get muscle and energy and that stuff as well.
Yes. It's like, I mean, it's the same thing in our program, right? Like we do a lot of mindset work inside the HPL accelerator, but we don't mention that to people on the phone unless they tell me that's their issue. Yeah. Right. And that's also because, if you're a business owner, you don't really want to admit sometimes that you have mindset issues, but then once you're in there trying to do the work, you need that mindset support, right? Because you're tackling something you haven't tackled before. And so you need that. You only didn't think you needed because you weren't trying to tackle that big of a problem yet. But if I tried to explain that to them, dude, they're not going to believe me. They're not having the experience.
Exactly. Another mindset program. Like, exactly. If I want to get better at sales, I'll do your program, Oh, Jono, my program is that mindset. Nah, I'll sign up for someone that does sales,
Yeah, I'll go get some sales training.
But,
that's structured exactly the same.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's get to the objections, Justin. Let's maybe do a role play. I think is the best here. Let's maybe set the scenario. So let's say it's your business, right? Let's say you're making a sale for your business. Do you want to paint a bit of a picture? Let's say I'm the ideal client, and maybe give me a bit of a scenario. Here's what I want. Here's what I've told you, and then I'll rattle off some objections, and you can run through how you'd handle them.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
So give me a bit of background. Who am I?
Yeah, let's say you're a trainer, right? Let's say you're a trainer.
Yep.
And you've told me that you want to stop charging by the hour and start charging for more value with like a high ticket offer.
Yep.
And that the biggest thing stopping you from doing that is having consistent leads coming in that are really looking for that.
Gotcha.
And so I've offered you our program, which will not only help you just get build and validate that high ticket offer, but will also help you get leads that are qualified and that are ready to pay for what you have, right? Awesome. And what we've talked about, with very low conversions could have you making 25 to 30K in the next 30 days.
Okay. All right, cool. This is going to be hard to object. This is going to be hard to object to that, but let's see. I
do my homework all up front, like you were saying earlier.
Okay. Any other info I need for this role play, or we'll just get into it and see how we go?
No, I think we'll just get into it and see how we go. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, that looks all right, Justin. How much is it?
Yeah, so there's actually two ways to pay. So you can pay in full and give you a little bit of a discount, or you can pay over time. And if you pay over time, it's a little bit more, but it's less of an outlay in cash right now. So if you pay in full, it's 15K. And then if you pay over time, it's 5K to get started, and then 2,500 a month for the next 5 months. It's a 6-month program.
Okay, so 15K up front is the upfront?
Is the upfront, yep.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, it looks good, Justin, but 15K. I don't know if I have that money, man.
Okay, dude, I hear you. And I mean, not everybody has that money, right? So let me ask you a question, though. I mean, do you believe, Jono, that what you're doing, if you were to package up what you're doing hourly right now, and kind of max out on time for, and you package it up and put it into the offer we kind of talked about that you were saying that you want to get off the ground, do you think that's really valuable for people and is really helping people?
100%.
Okay. And do you think that you're capable, like with our help, of getting leads that are interested in it?
Yeah, I think so. Your process sounded tight.
Okay. Now that tells me that the money is like the easiest thing to handle, and it's probably awkward for both of us. But I can help you go through some options here that we have to help handle the issue. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. So I might ask you some personal questions, and if there's anything you don't want to answer, just tell me that, and then I'll try to find a different way to help. Is that cool?
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool. Okay, so when you say you don't know if you have the 15K, is that a matter of, hey, I don't have it in my bank at all? Or is it a matter of, I have it, but it's just allocated for other stuff?
Yeah, I've got it in my savings, but I don't know if I want to, spend 15K on my savings. Bit of a risk, right?
Well, it depends on how you're looking at it. So when you say spend, if we use the word spend, in our mind, that links it up to like a trip to the mall. So Jono, would I suggest you take a trip to the mall with your savings and go buy like a PlayStation 5 and some Louboutins? And no, I wouldn't recommend you spend your savings on anything unless it's an emergency, right? Now, my question for you is, what are you investing your savings in?
Yeah, I mean, I've just got them sitting there.
Okay. Well, you told me a second ago that you believe what you do really helps people and people need it, right? You also told me that with your help, or with our help, you think you could get enough leads of people that would be interested in it to make it worth your while. And like, we did some very basic math. And what was the number on that? Like 25,000 you could make in the next 30 days. Well, that requires some hustle from you there, but beyond that, like I would imagine taking 15,000 and turning it into 25 or 30. I would imagine that's a good investment. And what do you think?
No, yeah, I think you're right there.
Okay, cool. Well, I tell you what, man, how do you want to pay for it?
Okay, let's do it.
Cool. Let's go.
All right. Nice. So there's a couple of things. Do you want to give some insight? Because that was just so smooth. Now, there may be people listening to this, watching this, that are like, man, I could never do that. Like, have you got a system you go through? Is it just practice? Is it, what can you tell us there?
Yeah. So the first thing is it's really practice. Okay. I've said those lines, like it's some variation of them many, many times. I couldn't even count. Okay. So practice is key. And don't do it live if you can't help it. Practice with somebody who knows your situation. Right. So anyways, there's a process though. Okay. So the process is involved in asking questions to get clarity. Okay. So now a lot of people go into objections with the wrong mindset, the mindset of I have to overcome this. No, you don't. You're not the hero.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't take responsibility. It's like you said earlier, you start taking on responsibility for someone else's deal and their business and stuff, which coaches do all the time. Yeah. Right. Then when they say no, or they ghost you, it hurts way harder, way more than it has to. Okay. And that's why people say I can never do that, because they don't know what's on the other side of it. So anyways, I said the same thing when I first heard the strategy, but here's how it goes. Okay. The first thing you need to do is disarm them in some way. Okay. So I call it a ledge, right? And what the ledge is it's like the first way that you respond to somebody when they give you an objection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do is just call out what's going on. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to the money objection, we'll get into that actually here in a second about permission. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing you want to do is let that person know, hey, you're not going to scare me off with this. We're still going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so from there, then it's about asking their permission to ask some questions around it. Right. So my ledge was asking you if you believe in what you do.
Wait, let's go back. So what was the first thing you said when I said the cash?
Yeah. I said, hey, so let me ask you a question. Do you believe that what you have has value?
Gotcha. Even before that though, you sort of agreed with me, right? You were sort of like, yep, got it. Not everyone's got the money at the moment. You said something like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I just totally forgot about that.
Because that was good as well. I feel like if you went straight into, let me ask you a question, do you believe it? I might get a bit defensive, but I felt like you sort of softened it.
You sort of softened it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to acknowledge them, right? Because he's right. You have to realize there's a hard line to run, because the more of these that you do and the better you get at it, you realize how often that's really bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to remember it's real to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so somebody told me dude, you just have to, like, I went through NLP training, right? And I'm sure you've been through that too.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches have. And what they tell you is to respect that other person's model of the world.
Yeah.
So when it goes into objections, that's the first thing I try to communicate to them is I respect your model of the world. I know you think that's real.
Yeah. Because even if we use my example, I told you I didn't have 15,000, but when you digged in, I've got 15,000. It's just in my savings account.
That's right. And now there's people out there watching this, y'all. There's people, if you've never experienced this before, you're watching this going, these guys are crazy. A person would never say that. And I'll tell you that's wrong. The only reason Jono knows that is because he's been in that exact situation before.
Yep.
And the only reason I didn't flinch is because I've been in that exact situation before. Yep. It'll blow your minds how unavailable money seems to somebody until you start getting clarity with them. Right? Someone will tell me, yeah, I don't have any money. Got zero in my savings, got zero in my checking. I'll be like, okay, do you have any available credit? And they'll, well, I have $120,000 available on credit cards. And I'll go, oh, okay, what's wrong with that? Well, those are credit cards. I can't pay that off in a month. That dude, that person really believes that. And on y'all, side note, good for them, right?
Yep.
But they really believe that. That's how they've been able to maintain that. That's their reality. So that's just the biggest thing you guys is realize this is someone's reality. They're not trying to lie to you to push you away. They're on a call with you.
Yep.
Right. Yep. They want you to help them. They said yes to the permission when you asked to help them. Yeah. So I want to just point that out because people will see this and go, I've had students tell me that's crazy. People would never say that. And I'll say, you're crazy for thinking that when you've never been in that situation before.
Yeah.
Never even tried the technique.
Yeah.
And you're telling me what people are going to say in the technique. I get why, but sorry, you're the crazy one.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we agree. And then we ask that question.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, what you need to find out is it really a money issue?
Yeah.
Or is it a belief in themselves or in the program or in you or the company?
Yeah.
Right? If someone else is selling it for you, it's the company. If you're selling it yourself, your own service, it's you, right? And that can be the case, and it'll come out. So you ask somebody, hey, do you believe in what you're doing? Essentially, you can phrase it however you want.
Yeah.
I think I went somewhere around your like high ticket offer thing, right?
Yeah.
But phrase it however you want, that makes sense. But basically, do you believe that you're capable, or do you believe that what you have has value? And you'll be so surprised how many people will tell you, no, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't believe what mine has value.
Yeah. Or
Right?
it's like, or the other way, because it's like they might tell you that, or they might not believe your system, right? I don't think that can help. And money is almost a nice way of saying it, because it's kind of like if you say the money, you're almost like removing the responsibility from yourself as the prospect. You know, oh, I don't have the money, nothing I can do. You know, and
Sorry.
a lot of exactly, and a lot of people, a lot of salespeople won't further that. Oh, doesn't have the money. What can they do? All right, I'll leave it at that. And then it gets that person out of the confronting situation, right?
Yes.
But if you can kind of dig a bit deeper, and then you find out, okay, maybe it's they don't have the confidence in themselves. Well, we got to handle that. Doesn't matter what the hell you say about the money, you know, if they don't believe they can do it, or if they don't believe your system, we got to handle that, you know?
Yes. You can't change someone's belief in themselves. Well, you might be able to, but you can't do it by talking about money.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the biggest key is that's why you ask, hey, is it okay? Or rather, that's why you ask, hey, do you think that you could accomplish these things we talked about with our help? Because that's the second step. Do you believe in yourself? Yep. Then the second step is, okay, do you believe in the system I described to you? Right. And then right there, you'll be surprised how many people tell you, no, I don't. And then, you know, for your next sales call, like, okay, I missed something.
Yeah.
And you try to make it clearer next time. And that's how you get better, right?
Yeah.
Because you realize that part of it is in your control. And so you can always refine and get better. But anyway, I'll go off on a tangent on that forever.
Now let's spend a minute there, because I think that's a good one. Because it's kind of like, if you get that objection and the person, you know, either doesn't believe in themselves or you, it's like the feedback loop. It's kind of like, okay, I missed that sale. I'll still try and handle the objection, but it's going to be hard. I probably missed that sale, but great. Let me, what did I do wrong? Did I not find out was it my questioning that wasn't good enough? You know, did I not ask the right questions, not get the right answers, you know, or did I miss something when explaining? I asked the right questions, but I missed something and probably same with you, Justin, the amount of times I've done a sales call and I get to the objection and they give me the objection and I'm just like, fuck, I could have answered. I knew I should have asked that one earlier, you know, or I knew I should have mentioned that earlier. It's that TV example. I've been in that so many times earlier in my career where I say it and I'm like, why didn't I just ask that question earlier on? You know, but once you make that mistake, I'm sure with that TV salesperson, he's never making that mistake again. So it's a good way. Even if you stuff up the sale, as long as you learn from it, it's okay.
Exactly. And you really need to take that approach. A lot of people put so much pressure on themselves to sell. And you have to understand that this is something people do for a living that ordinary people just trying to do.
Yeah.
It'd be like you, like not being able to do surgery on somebody and then being upset at yourself for not being able to do surgery. Like you're not a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So first give yourself that grace. And then that allows you then to, use every single time you fail as a learning example, because that's how you get really, really good, really fast.
Awesome. All right, cool. So we ask that question to disarm them. We then find out, make sure they're confident in themselves, make sure they're confident in our process.
In us. Yeah.
And then do you just ask again? You pretty much said, it looks like it's just money. Then you sort of went a bit deeper. Is it, you don't have?
Yeah. So right there is a crucial point in the process where you want to get their permission. Because what you're about to talk about, I like to mention how awkward it is. It's awkward to me to this day, just so you know. Don't ever expect it not to be awkward. It's money. Right.
Yeah.
So I just call it out, man. I'm just like, hey, this is awkward for both of us. But my goal only is to help you. So I'll endure the awkwardness for you. Lucky you. Right.
Yeah.
I make those kinds of jokes to lighten the mood and kind of get them laughing and let them know that, again, I'm only here to walk them through it. I'm not going to be a high pressure guy. I'm not going to make them feel bad. I'm not going to judge them. I want to tell you something too. Judging is both good and bad. So if someone tells you, well, I have $10,000 in the account, you go, well, you're doing really good, dude. Don't say shit like that. That's judgment. Right. So anyways, keep your judgment to yourself about their financial situation.
Yep.
So, but you have to ask their permission. That's the very next thing I did. So I said, hey, money's no problem. That's like the easiest thing to solve for any of my clients. I've never had a client stop by money. Best thing is because they would have been, they were my client.
Yeah.
So I've never had a client stop by money. Now I could probably help you with this with some options and stuff, but it's might get really awkward. So I need your permission. Is that okay for me to help you with this and help you figure this out?
So good. Question. How did you get so smooth?
What do you mean?
It's just like, there's no ums, there's no R's, there's no.
Oh,
it's just, is that word for word perfect?
No.
You've got it. It's just, the rough words.
I know the essence of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so then I just say whatever I think makes sense. And I really believe it. That's the whole thing. You can't go in. I really believe that I'm asking their permission.
Yeah.
And the reason I really believe that is because, like, Jono, if you had said to me, no, I would have been fucked on the role play. You'd have been like, no, I'd have been like, oh, okay. Normally if someone says no, then I'll say, okay. And they will say no, but I'll say, hey, what would you do if you were me? And the people will tell you, you know what, keep pushing. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's happened a few times.
Yeah.
And sometimes people go, hey, you know what, man, I just really got to figure this out. I don't need any help. And, follow up with me in a month.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, that tells me, dude, you blew it somehow, or this guy just wasn't the right thing.
Yeah.
He didn't think it was gonna be right. And that's fine. We learn from it and move on.
Yeah.
But the key is to be smooth, is to know the essence of what you're trying to ask, and then really authentically ask it with curiosity. I'm not hoping for them to say yes there. Yeah. For me, I don't care. It's just going to be, the call's going to go this way where I ask them the next thing. Or it's going to go this way where I ask them the next thing. I don't care what they say. And I guess that allows it to be smooth because I'm not nervous. Yeah. What do I have to be nervous about if I don't care?
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then we asked the permission.
Let's ask permission. They say yes, permission.
Yep.
And then we ask, okay, first thing with money is, again, you got to figure out if is it available and they just don't see it as available. Yeah. Or is it the fact this person's dead broke, right?
Yeah.
Again, no judgments. Okay. And even tell them that, hey, if they look uncomfortable, say, I'm not going to judge you. I promise. My only interest is in helping you figure this out and see if there's a way. That's it. And they go, and they always line up. Okay, cool. So the first question is, how much, do you have it available or no? Right. Yeah. No matter what they really say to that, the next question would be, okay, how much do you have? How much, we're going to find out exactly how much money this person has. Okay. And you have to remember, they gave you their permission.
Yep.
And you're not finding out for your own personal reasons.
Yep.
Right. You're kind of like a tool for them to use to see how they can fix their situation.
Exactly.
Right. So, hey, how much money do you have available in your checking account right now? And they'll tell you, I have $200. Okay, cool. And you have to just calm, and it takes practice, but okay, cool. $200. What do you have in your savings account? Oh, I don't have a savings account. Okay. Or if they say, oh, I have $1,000. Okay. And you say, do you have credit cards? Yes. How much available credit do you have on your credit cards? I have this. If they have to go look, let them go look. Sit quietly. Right? The key here is to ask the questions and get answers. If you don't get answers, you subconsciously communicate to them that you don't really care and that you're just trying to figure out this money for yourself. So you think you're letting them off and being the nice guy, but you're not. Get answers to the questions. Yeah. Right? So, okay, cool. So once you have how much money they have, right? Then you start figuring, like, I can't tell you where to go from there. You have to problem solve with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Your situation, we role played it out. And I'm like, okay, so what are you doing with that money? You're like, it's just sitting there. The way you said that told me you already feel a little guilty that it should be being invested. So I just picked up on that and said, hey, why are you not investing that money? And you're like, shit, I have no good answer for this. Right. And it's because you'll be able to replenish it in 30 days. The reason you don't have a good answer for it is because you'll be able to replenish it in 30 days and you'll be safe with that money and you'll have way more skills. People just aren't looking at it that way. Yeah. So another really good question you can ask at this stage, and you'll have to decide where, right? Because it's about problem solving. But the question that you can ask is, hey, it seems like right now you're really focused on what would happen if this goes wrong. And look, I got to tell you, I admire that because a lot of people just think about the possibilities are endless and everything about the work involved, what all it takes. So I admire that. It's really good. But as a business owner and being a solopreneur, being the head guy, you got to look at both sides of the coin, right? Well, the other side of the coin is, what if this does work? Now, I'm curious for you, have you really taken the time to imagine what would happen, as much as you've imagined what would happen if it doesn't work, what would happen if it does? And they'll be like, they'll either say, yeah, you know what, you're right, let's do it. Or they'll be like, I haven't. And you're like, well, let's take a minute. What would it be like? And they start telling you, and they start selling themselves on it. And then all of a sudden the money magically appears on a credit card they just forgot about in their back pocket that they were saving for next year's Christmas.
Yeah. Love it. It's interesting. It's like, I've even had it before where people have just said straight up, I don't have the money. Right. And then ask a few questions, then it just magically appears. I don't know where they got it from, but it magically appears, but you're right, where you've got to dance around it, because you can't just say bullshit. You've got the money, check your, it's not going to end well. But so there's a couple things with it. I like how you mentioned problem solving, because that's essentially what it is. There's no script for this. That's right. Like, okay, there's the beginning part, there's a script, and the objection handling, there's maybe a strategy, like Justin's a strategy to get the point there. But then you've got to use some of your own genius, right? And that's where it's like, and also a bit of empathy. I think, like, okay, if I was in that person's situation, what would I do? Okay, what could I do here? What could I do there? What could I do there? And the more creative you can get there, the better it's value. It's solving that person.
It's incredibly valuable. Yes.
You're almost like a financial advisor in a way.
Right.
It's almost like, and what it even is, it's like, okay, and I quite like that side of things. I quite like budgeting and that side of things there. And it's kind of like, especially if the person's a business owner, where you can be like, all right, cool. So, how much are you bringing in? Oh, I'm bringing in, $5,000 a month as an example. Okay, cool. And what's rent? Oh, rent's $1,000 a month. Okay, cool. Where's that other 4,000 going? And then it's even a good exercise for them. Oh shit. I'm spending this amount on Uber Eats. And I'm spending this amount on social stuff. And you know what? I could pretty easily find an extra $500 to $1,000 there, and then you can work with, and then there might be strategies there, all right, cool. You've got, $1,000 saved up, can make 1,000 a week. Hey, give us X amount deposit. And I'm sure there's, and that's where there's a bit of, do you do that sort of stuff as well? Are you?
Totally. We'll figure it out. Right. Like if you would have said, hey, I only have 2,500 right now, and I really want to get started, but I only have 2,500. Shit. I might've just been like, okay, well, what if we extended the course a month and got you started now for the 2,500 and just added another month on the end. So it's a 7-month thing instead of a 6-month thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, because with the thing is with coaching, we can structure the deal however we want, as long as it makes sense. Right.
Yep.
And especially when you're your own business owner, you decide. So you decide if that's worth it for this person. Right.
Yep.
In my opinion, it totally is. If they're saying, I can't get started for 5K right now, but I can get started for this much. Great. I want to get that person started because they're going to get insane results.
Awesome. All right. You want to do one more role play?
Hey, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay. So it's 15K up front, Justin?
Yeah. 15K up front. Yeah. We also have the pay over time option too, which is 5K up front and then 2,500 a month for the next 5 months.
Okay. Look, I like money, so I'll go with the one that cost the less. So I'll go for the 15K. I just got to check with my partner though. I'm interested, but she's the boss. She's in charge of the finances. So, I just got to check with her before I, actually, wait, no, let me change that a bit. I was too positive there. Sorry. So, okay. So 15K, Justin.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, I just got to check with my partner and I'll get back to you.
Okay. That's probably higher than what you were expecting, wasn't it?
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's normal. Let me ask you a question. For everything that we went over, and you were looking at making an extra 25 to 30K a month, based on the strategy we talked about, and honestly, really low end numbers. Mike, I'm curious, man, what were you expecting to pay?
I'm not too sure, but I just want to check with my wife,
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. So let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to cause anything to make you sleep on the couch or anything like that. Okay? That's the last thing I want. But I'm curious, do you believe that what you have here really helps people?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. And do you really believe that you could get to that 25, 30K a month within the next 30 to 60 days with our help?
100%.
Okay. So let me ask you a question, man. What would you do if your wife says, hey, don't do this?
That is a good question. Look, I would, because it's her money as well, it's kind of like, we've got the joint bank account. So pretty much my money is her money. So, I'd have to get her approval.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Do you feel like that's the right thing to do?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of confused. Okay. And I'm not trying to call you out, man. It might seem that way, but sometimes when stuff like this happens, we can kind of get in our own way, and it's a big thing I see. And so the only thing I want for you is to have all the information, although it might seem like I'm kind of calling you out here for a second. Okay. Is that
okay.
Cool?
Yeah. It's all right.
I just want to challenge you. So you have the ability to go from making about 5K a month where you're at right now to, let's even say 15K a month. Way lower than the numbers we estimated based on what you were telling me, right? Even at 15K. So what you're saying is, hey, I'll let my wife make a decision that she really has no business making because she didn't get the same experience that you just have. She doesn't have all the same information that you do. You're going to hand her that decision, which could cost your family an extra $10,000 a month forever. Help me understand why you believe that to be the right thing to do.
Okay, so I wouldn't, I just need her. I think I can do it. I just need to check with her first.
Right, but if you told me that if she says no, you're not going to do it.
That's a good point. No. I'm not, sorry, I probably phrased that wrong. So I won't ask for her approval. I just want to tell her that I'm going to do it before I actually give you my credit card.
Oh, okay. That's totally different. So what you're saying is, hey, I'm going to do this. I just need to say to her, hey, I'm doing this. So you see this big amount come out. You just need to do that before you do it. That's like a marital agreement.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Got it, dude. Okay. I totally misunderstood you. Okay. So let me ask you this. Is there any reason that you could see that you would end up not signing up?
No.
Cool. Okay. So how much time do you need to talk to her?
I'm going to speak to her tonight.
Okay. Let's put a calendar event on the calendar tomorrow. That way I don't forget about you, because my day goes a million miles a minute. And you might be like, hey, Justin, call me. And I'm just busy. So let's put it on the calendar. And then I'll just call you then, and we'll take care of the payment. That way she knows and you're safe. You're not sleeping on the couch, and we're all good. How's that sound?
Beautiful. Sounds good.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay. So many good bits there as well. I'll share a couple of the big things that I found there. One thing that you do really well, Justin, I don't know if you've got any tips on this or if it's natural, you're able just to make it funny, which I think helps with the smooth side of things, where it's instead of going like, hey, are you a man? Are you in charge of your finances or your wife? It's kind of like, hey, I'm not going to do anything to make you sleep on the couch. That's not what I want to do. And you're able to make it funnier. Do you just have like lines of those that you can throw out, or how did you learn it? Can you give us any tips there?
I've never thought about that. I don't consider myself to be a funny individual. So what I really do, dude, is I listen for those things from other people, and I just grab them and hold on to them.
Yeah.
So that's probably something I heard like one of my funnier colleagues say sometime in my sales career, that I was just like, yep, just grabbed onto it and held on to it.
The prospect.
And so I have certain things like that I repeat a lot.
Well, even the prospect, right? If you're a prospect, then like, Justin, I can't do it. I'll be sleeping on the couch if I do it. Grab that, I
grab that, and hold on.
Because you can empathize. And then that person, how did this guy know exactly what I was thinking? Well, it's because he's done it 100 times before.
Exactly. That lends to credibility, helps them trust you more, right? And I'll tell you this, a lot of people are very afraid to get into these deeper conversations with prospects. And I understand that, right? Yeah. It's very scary, but it's only scary because you've never experienced the deeper kind of connection you can get with somebody by getting into the details and being willing to ask those questions.
Yeah.
And the permission is the big piece of that, right? A lot of people have experienced a salesperson who's just digging, didn't have any permission.
Yeah.
And that sucks, right? That's an interrogation.
Yeah.
But when you have permission, man, you can feel to ask anything that you want. You told them if you ask something too deep that they could say, no, I don't want to answer that. And then you just move on. And the hard part about that is actually doing it when it comes up. You have to have integrity about it, right? But they'll respect you even more. Those people will love you. They may not buy today and they may not buy next month, but they're going to buy and because they love you, because nobody else treats them that way.
Yeah. And I'll see a couple of things I've found with that. So I've had those situations before where I've been on the phone with a salesperson, right? And the first time ever, this was years ago, right? First time ever, I had to hang up, right?
Wow.
But I hung up as a prospect, right? Hung up on their face only because they made so much sense that I had no sort of answer. I'm just like, and I couldn't admit that I was just too scared, So I was just like, I got nothing. This person's making too much sense. I can't admit to myself that I'm wrong. So I just hung up the phone. But I still remember that today. And that motivated me to sign up for a different program, which obviously you want them to sign up your program if possible. But really, if you're truly thinking of it in an altruistic way, you still gave that person the breakthrough. Okay, maybe you didn't make the money directly, whatever, but you still gave them a breakthrough. You still help them. That's going to come back in one way or another. So I think that's important there.
Yeah.
And then
I also think too, John, that's an important piece. Something that I work a lot on is making it safe for them to be wrong.
Yeah.
Right. I think that salesperson might've made it safe for you to own up to that. And maybe you were that ready still, no matter what, maybe you weren't, we never know. But that's something to really work for as a salesperson when you're selling, is to create a safe space of no judgment, no me versus you. Like I always tell people, I'm not against you. I'm right next to you, solving the problem with you. I'm not on the other side of the table is your problem, dude. I'm here as a consultant.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not involved. Right. Okay. So I'll tell a funny story if I can too. We're probably running out of time, but
no, you could.
So I used to work in corporate America. Okay. I hate working in corporate America because you sit around a boardroom around a bunch of people who are all politically involved in the decision rather than just trying to make the best decision for the company. Everybody's trying to make the best decision to save their own ass. Right.
Yep.
And I was stuck in this world for years before I got into coaching full time. I remember texting a friend of mine, or I was at this meeting for a Salesforce implementation. Okay. And they're going around and the CEO starts really just like drilling the Salesforce consultant. Right. And the Salesforce consultant, the CEO is a great guy. I love this dude. But the Salesforce consultant goes, I don't know how you guys are going to fix that. And frankly, I don't care. That's not part of my thing. Right? I'm just here as a consultant. And so me and my friend so I texted my friend and told him about it. And we started using this thing like, I'm just a consultant. Because that's how you got to approach a sale. I'm just a consultant, man. I don't care what you do. So that's how I'm able to be on the same side of the table as you. I have no vested interest in this. Yes, I get paid commission. That's just because that's how my boss chose to pay me. I'm going to give you the same experience no matter what. If this is my program, then who else do you expect to sell it but me? Right? Of course, I have a vested interest in you signing up. But more than that, as a business owner, I have a vested interest in the long-term reputation of my company and me as a person. So I'm not going to pressure you to do something you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Right. And you create that safe space with people, especially if you can tell if they're feeling uncomfortable, let them know what your intentions are. And I learned that from this book called Crucial Conversations. So if you haven't read that book, I bet you have, Jono.
No, I haven't actually.
You haven't? Oh, yes. I give you a good recommendation. Did you read it? Dude, yes.
I always ask.
So yeah, it's called Crucial Conversations. I actually keep it right by my desk.
I'm Googling it. Let's have a look.
That's the one, everybody.
Red one. Oh, why isn't it coming up? Oh, here we go. Crucial Conversations. Joseph Genry, Kenny Patterson.
Yep.
Over 5 million copies sold. Here we go.
Dude. And 4 million when I got my copy.
Yeah, there we go.
So like this book, I mean, the specific technique is setting the stage for what you want out of the conversation and for what you want them to get out of the conversation, which is, for me, it's like, I'm just here to help you solve this problem and you're in control of the permission. From that point, you can ask any question that you think you need to know. Don't ask random questions, right? That you don't need to know. Only ask questions that you think you need to know to help them solve the problem. And you need to know how much money they have and how much credit they have available. You just need to know that. It's not because you want to know, and sure, it may be interesting to find out, but it's not because you want to know. It's because you need to know that to help them. And that's the frame of mind you have to go into it with.
Awesome. Love it. And I'll share those. The other really good thing with Justin is like, there's no giving up there, right? See how I was going to go a bit further, but then it would be kind of objection handling. I was going to be like, oh, let me think about it. But I'm like, that's going to be a whole nother
objections. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's a whole nother thing there, but I think like you could see it wasn't, he like, there's no maybes there. It's a yes or a no. You know, it's
Right.
kind of like Justin will keep going and he won't let me off the hook. And I think that's another good one as well. I've had this conversation before where I've done sort of these role plays, and you know the students have been like, "But what would you say if they said that?" And I'm like, "I just keep going. Like I'm going to keep going until they tell me the real reason, until they tell me yes, or until they say no because and give me the real reason. No, because I don't trust I can do it, and I'm not willing to work on myself or whatever, you know. Or hey, I don't trust that you can do it. There's nothing you can say to me that's going to make me okay, cool, yeah. But as long as they give me the right reason, you know, it's like they give me the right reason. What am I even looking for? So they give me the right reason and they take responsibility for it. They essentially say, I don't think I can do it. I don't get it until they tell me that. And if they tell me that, okay, cool. You can't do it. Yep, totally cool.
There's nothing you can say to overcome that. Yeah, exactly. And that's a natural end of the conversation, right? Because now we're on the same page. Nobody's bullshitting one another. We know exactly what I had that the other day. I think she'll eventually be a client of mine, but I had a great time talking to her.
Yep.
Program really going to help her. She went away for a week to figure out where to get the money. When she came back, she hadn't found the money, and I think she had the money personally. But she said, I don't feel right investing in it, and I'm not 100% all in.
Yep.
And she's like, so if I'm not 100% all in, I know that I'm just going to waste my money. And I said, you know what? You're right. Okay. That makes perfect sense. No problem. We talked a little bit more and I let her go.
Yeah.
Right. For me to continue there, that would kind of make me an asshole.
Yeah.
Right. Someone's telling me I'm not ready to fully commit to this.
Yep.
And I'm going, you need to. Well, that makes me an asshole. I'm sorry. It just does. Right.
Exactly. And it's like, actually, I'll because I want to be sensitive of your time here. So, and just quickly with the partner one, it was what Justin did really good there wasn't letting me use that as an excuse. You know, it's kind of like, I get it, but hey, do you think you can do it? Yep. I get you got to check with your partner, but do you think you can do it? You know, like there's no brushing off. It's like, buddy, you make a call, you know, if you can do it.
Think about it, right? That's not fair to put his wife in that position. Like I'm thinking about his marriage, dude. So here, let's think about this, right? He's going to go here's why this isn't real. Because it doesn't make any sense, right? I'm going to talk to you by myself. I'm not going to involve my wife, right? I'm going to talk to you by myself. And then in order to decide, I'm going to go talk to someone who didn't talk to you. Yeah. Now, my wife is a conscientious type, dude. She's going to have all kinds of questions I don't have answers for.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm really going to go talk to her, you know, she's going to say to me, why didn't you involve me in this?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm already I'm at the end, I'm at decision time. And now I'm bringing her in like, hey, honey, can I spend 15 grand?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, Jono. Right. Yeah. So that's how you know it's bullshit. That makes no sense. You know what? I was on the call with this guy the other day. He said, hey, my wife is probably going to want to get involved in this. And this just moved way faster than I expected it to. So like, what should we do? And I said, well, dude, we got to stop right now, schedule a call with you and your wife. He goes, great idea. Okay. That is somebody who really needs their wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yep. Because now he wants to get her involved in the conversation so she can ask her own questions and she can make an educated decision. Otherwise, you're telling me you're going to go ask someone who has no idea about this to make an educated decision. And I'll tell you that what the decision with me is going to be no, because they're only going to be thinking about the money. Right.
Yeah.
And at the same, then you're going to resent them. Right. So they're going to say no, you're going to listen. And then you're going to be thinking to yourself, this is my later on pitch when I'm really going, right. If they haven't listened to me yet.
Yeah.
So you're going to be thinking to yourself, I could be making $25K a month right now if only my wife would have let me sign up for Justin's program. And you see the resentment that's going to create in your marriage. Are you really willing to do that? Or can you just tell me no right now?
Yeah.
Right. And people don't say no because they want to do it. They just want another excuse not to do it because they're scared.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. Right? And I think and am I right in saying, Justin, I look at objections in the big five. Do you do the same? And if you look at those five, you've got kind of like the automated answers in your brain. Okay. It's the ones I use: money, time, partner, think about it, more info. Are they the ones you run with, or?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's pretty much only those five.
I would probably, more info might split into a couple other ones like don't believe I can do it. Don't believe they can do it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Gotcha. Awesome. So yeah, for everyone listening, I mean, the best thing I'd recommend is do Justin's program. As you can see, he's got every trick in the book. We just rattled off a few, and you can see how, obviously, say you've got a $5,000 program, like you use some of Justin's skills here, you're going to make that back super quick. Best place, Justin, to get more info is add you as a friend on Facebook.
Yeah, add me as a friend on Facebook. We'll connect. I can invite you to the Have a Base Lifestyle and Business Secrets group, which is a free Facebook group where Jesse Yule and I'll share a lot more different secrets, and not just stuff about business, also stuff about living a healthy lifestyle and that kind of thing. So if you feel like you could contribute value to that group and that would be valuable for you, then yeah, we'll talk about it and I can send you a link.
Awesome. All right. Well, Justin, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. Is there anything I should have asked you but didn't, or anything you want to finish us off with?
I don't think so. I think your questions are always good. I would just say to someone who's listening to this and wondering how you can get there, start with just coming up as a problem solver and deciding that you're going to make them in the call. If you have those two things in mind and questions, those three things in mind, then you'll close way more. I bet you'll double your conversion rate, whatever it's at right now.
Love it. Awesome. All right, Justin, thanks for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome, John.